Many African nations have partnerships with international humanitarian groups, but these outside organizations often want to dictate how their money and manpower is used. Their rules and restrictions end up choking out any chance for significant progress. In contrast, ILDI's partnership with New Harvest serves as a new model for development. ILDI realizes the local leaders in Sierra Leone know best what is needed, and thus, it is New Harvest that decides which ideas and projects have priority. Even with outside aid, I wonder how difficult it must be for a nation ravaged by war to regain life. How can a people ever arise from such economic and spiritual depression? It seems the rebirth of Sierra Leone lies in the new birth of a new generation of leaders.
So when I was here with Dan in 2006, I noticed immediately that roads were horrible, buildings were bad, half destroyed. 4 years later, what I've noticed is roads have gotten a lot better, infrastructure seems better, a lot more buildings going up, and people are still incredibly welcoming, and see a lot of leaders, a lot of people desiring to be leaders, to be trained, and anything that they can do to help their community, whether it's pulling teeth or helping nurses or assisting in the pharmacy or just there to pray for people. So it's wonderful seeing that kind of engagement.
Our third day of clinic takes us to a rural village outside of Bo, where many have never seen a doctor before. We first pay a visit to the local village chief, who approves our clinic plans for that day.
Big smile.
This is a map of Sierra Leone. We have the Atlantic Ocean, Guinea, Liberia here on the west coast of Africa. Here's the capital city of Freetown, where we spent our first day. Last couple days we spent here in Bo, the second largest city. And now this morning we drove about 40 miles down to about here, the town of Yerumbaya. We're about to set up clinic this morning.
Very fast service. So the population has outgrown the
Before we leave, the church staff give us a tour of their latest projects. This is a secondary school in Bo, operated by New Harvest. After the Civil War, 2/3 of the nation's children were without education. Many of the surviving schools today have poor academic standards, prompting New Harvest to build its own private schools with low tuition fees. This particular school is called the Every Nation Academy and has become so inundated with students that a new schoolhouse is being built. However, funding has dried up before the schoolhouse can be finished. ILDI is now helping to raise funds to finish the project. Mohammed has faith his students will start classes in the new schoolhouse soon.
Trusting God that will happen. So we already want to, this is a work of faith, creating a room for facilities that we don't really have but we hope we'll get. Yeah. So this will be the science collaboration.
Though this school has only been open for a few years, it has already risen towards the top of the school rankings nationwide.
We have over 1,000 schools nationwide. So for us to be in the first 25, just in 5 years, we really can be able to overtake all the schools that we have met here in the last 100 years. We can overtake them. Some of the facilities that other private schools have, we don't have. We have no buses. Our infrastructure is not as good as them, but we have a very stable academic standard here and discipline. So people look at that and instead of the structures. And so they are bringing their children here. Yeah.
We also visit the radio station operated by the church.
Good morning, Sierra Leone. Welcome to this morning's programs on Radio New Song 97.5 FM. Stay tuned and your life will never be the same again.
What's the mission of this radio station?
Well, the mission of the Radio News Song is 97.5 FM is broadcasting for salvation, peace and development. And what we want to see is that their lives can be restored, and they can live wholesome lives again after all the destruction that's gone, in the past. Have peace, have a society where people can be at peace with each other, different communities, different ethnicities, and also development. See a nation rise up again and face the challenges that's before them, and just together make a better society and country, for not only for them but their children after them.
Awesome. Today's August 29th, Sunday, the Lord's Day. We're praising the Lord here in Sierra Leone, where they have the most realist, awesome connection to His work, and I'm so delighted to be a part of that.
After 6 years of consistent partnership, New Harvest knows ILDI is committed to Sierra Leone. Dr. Steve is given the opportunity to speak to the congregation every time he visits.
We want to see the leaders in this country rise up.
We want to see the leader in this nation for medicine.
You are the hope of this nation.
We are the hope of Sierra Leone.
Jesus is the hope, and you are His hands and feet.
Jesus is the hope of one. We are the foot, then we are the hand, and we are the body.
And if leaders are not good leaders,
and leader in this nation not a good leader,
the whole nation suffers.
And the whole nation is suffering.
As a final farewell, the New Harvest staff hold a going away party for us.
On behalf of the leadership of New Harvest Ministries, we want to say we really appreciate you coming here. You have shown us what we know is a greater love. For you to leave the comfort of your country.
It always challenges me every time I go home, to believe God for great things. When I see what God is doing in Sierra Leone, that He can change anyone. There's no hope, no situation that is hopeless. There's no situation that God can't come and do a mighty work.
Thank you so much for coming to Sierra Leone. Thank you for every service that you have rendered to our people.
In the past, Africa was called the Dark Continent for its mysterious geography. Its modern-day poverty and continual conflicts and struggles seem to do little to shed that label. But the Africa I see is no longer a place of darkness. There are rays of hope emerging from adversity. But Sierra Leone cannot rebuild on its own, nor should it. Mohammed students are still in need of a finished schoolhouse. Radio News Song must continue its message of faith and healing. And the medical clinics still need continued supplies to treat the sick. As I return home, I think about how my life in America is often marked by abundance, overconsumption, and waste. I say I want to help people, and yet how meager is my generosity compared to what I spend on selfish gain? What am I doing with the blessings I've been given? What are you doing? In Sierra Leone, I'm humbled to see people with so little who are dreaming and believing to do so much. A new generation is indeed rising up in Sierra Leone, one that knows peace instead of war, hope instead of despair, and is working to rebuild its nation.